What's going on YouTube? I'm Cooper, this is the CooperMusicPage, and today we're going to be talking about bar chords. Now what is a bar chord? So in my first video about guitar basics, I talked about the nut, which is up here with the tension on this string. That gives us an open or a zero for all of these strings, right? If we were to change that and lay our index finger across a full fret like this third fret and then create an E-shaped chord with the rest of our fingers, we would get a G bar chord. Now let me explain. So we're going to have to know a few things for this to work, and we're going to have to look at our E major chord, which is going to be like this: open, 2, 2, 1, open, open. And then if we imagine that this nut right here is our index finger barring a zero, we're going to create that bar with our index finger and then create the E shape with the rest of our fingers, and we're going to slide that down, that whole shape, down to the third fret, because the third fret root is G, and then your E shape will create the notes necessary for the G bar chord. See? Sounds pretty much the same as the open G chord. Now in order to get a rooted bar chord, like the C note here as a bar chord, we can't use the E major shape, we have to use the A major shape. If you don't know that one, that is open, 2, 2, 2, open, kind of ignoring this open E string. I kind of mute that with my thumb, and then when I'm doing the bar chords, I kind of mute that with the tip of my barring index finger. But same deal, we're going to index finger the fake bar over the nut to give us our spacing, and then I kind of forget about this B string right here. I kind of leave that open because it doesn't really matter when you look at the chord sound, and I'll show you that in a minute. But so that I have those two, which gives you this A sus kind of thing, we're going to move that over to the third fret root with your bar chord, or with your index finger barred, and it's going to give us this C kind of sus thing. But when I'm playing G to C, you don't really notice it, because if I go to play G to C open, it sounds pretty much the same. Even though I'm not actually pressing all three of those notes like I should be. Now, that is how you do your major chords rooted on the E and the A string. But if you want to do minor bar chords, all you need to know is the E minor and A minor for those respective strings. That's as simple as removing a finger, so now you have 0, 2, 2, 0, 0, 0, and that gives you an E minor. You'll do the same thing. You'll pretend you have that bar and have your shape ready and go to G on the third, and you'll get a G minor bar chord. Same thing with A. Instead of having open, 2, 2, 2, open, we have open, 2, 2, 1, open, and that gives us a minor voicing. We'll take that shape, imaginary bar, and slide it down to the third fret, and we get a C minor bar chord. You can use this all over the neck. That's why it's important, like I said in that first video I made, to know where your notes are along the E and A strings. And that's as easy as following the scale: E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, and you can keep going. And the same thing on the A string, you have A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. So that means that this would be my G, and then over on the fifth, if we go to the A root, would be a D. Now how you want to practice this is you want to be able to flatten your index finger across all the strings so that they're all barred and rooted on that third, and then you want to form that shape with the remaining fingers. And this is just muscle memory, like any other chord shape. You're going to want to practice and practice coming to that shape right away out of nowhere and getting at least a decent sounding ring. Like I said earlier, it doesn't really matter when you're playing if you get all of them to ring out every single time, because while you're playing, music is more about feel and emotion more than it is about technicality and letting every single note ring. Music isn't perfect, and neither should your playing some of the times. And this is an appropriate time to not be so worried about how your chord sounds, especially in the higher register as much. We're really focusing on the first couple strings here at the top. Once you get your actual chord shapes down and you could confidently press down and make a bar chord shape, a good way to practice musically is to take a very common progression you see in a lot of music, which is going to be G, D, E minor, and C. And you're going to want to play that with bar chords. Open chords, and then we're going to switch to bar chords. G is on the 3rd, D is on the 5th, E is on the 7th, and C is on the 3rd. E rooted, A rooted, A rooted still, and A rooted again. Major, major, minor, and major. And that is how bar chords are used and formed. Remember your E and E minor and A minor shapes, and then remember to place your index finger flat across the whole root, and then use your fingers to create those shapes accordingly. You can get the same kind of effect without using bar chords with this cheater method called a capo, and if you wanted to, you can place it on the 2nd fret here, and instead of playing an A rooted E major shape for an A bar chord, you can just play the open G shape, because you're doing effectively the same thing. You're barring this one and creating that open chord shape place. We don't want to always use this just to change our key. This is good for on the fly or playing or practicing or recording, but we want to be full musicians who can say, hey, I need you to play a C sharp minor chord. And then you go, oh God, C sharp minor, that's C sharp minor. I don't know how to do that. But of course you do now, because I showed you. Find your C sharp minor. That's your C sharp minor, but in bar form. Just knowing the notes on the E string and the A string up and down, being familiar with where they are and how they transition, and getting your fingers fretted right on the boards to get those notes to ring out, you will be golden. Practice, 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 all of that, and then transitioning between the different chords throughout the progression. And you will get a lot better at your bar chords. I know they're scary at first. Everyone tries to learn this F bar chord at first, and they think, well, that's just too hard. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go with this F major 7, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you want to get into your bar chords up and down the neck for different notes and different chord progressions, you are going to have to learn a little bit about using your index finger a little bit more strongly than you're used to now. And it's like any other muscle. You just got to build it up and practice with it and make sure that you are practicing the right way so that you can learn good habits and not bad ones. But that about sums it up for bar chords. That's B-A-R-R-E chords, if you didn't know. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, drop a comment. Do you use bar chords? Are you brand new to bar chords? Was this video any kind of help to you with learning bar chords? I appreciate the feedback down below. I do live streams on Wednesdays, new videos on Mondays, and putting up new shorts on Sundays now. So stay tuned for that and follow me for all the new things. But until next time,